Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 Manager 2022, where we are about to drive round very quickly around the Albert Park circuit in Australia for the Australian Grand Prix. And in the last episode, if you didn't go and see it, go and watch it. We picked up 2 points. Fernando Alonso scored his first 2 points for the team, which was good. Guan Yu Zhou got left behind a little bit, but now Guan Yu Zhou came to me, gave me a ring. He was like, "Oi, Dave, why are you giving Alonso all the good parts?" I said, "Fine. We'll give you all the same parts." So now both drivers have got all exactly the same parts on both their cars. This is not where I wanted to go. If I went into the warehouse, we can see here, chassis is now installed on Guan Yu Zhou's car. The front wing, Guan Yu Zhou's car. The rear wing is the same. The side pods are the same. The underfloor both on the same car, and the suspension is now both on as well. So Guan Yu Zhou has no more arguments, to be honest, and he's going to be on a bit of an uphill as well, because he's going to get all 3 practice sessions. Drugovich is going to get 1 this time, and Alonso is going to get 1 as well. So he's going to have 2, practice sessions. So it's going to go 2, 3, 1 is how it's going to go. Talking of practice sessions, I'll go and do that. We'll be back for qualifying. See you in a bit. So practice done, into qualifying we go, and it's been very, very rainy, which is making it very interesting. The race day is going to be partly cloudy, but yeah, we've had a bit of rain practice 1 and 2, very heavy rain in practice 3, and now as we go into qualifying, it's going to be very interesting. Alonso's got a grid penalty. You'll never guess what he did. Drove into the back with Guan Yu Zhou, so that was good fun. Yeah, so he's got a grid penalty, but see, they're staying start on softs, which means it's not going to be really, really wet to start with. So we get out there and we do a lap very, very early on to get us into the best position possible. And it'll be interesting to see if the patch has done anything to the AI, because normally the AI wasn't very clever of setting laps early on if it was going to go like good weather to wet weather. They would normally take a little bit of time to actually figure that out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Just as we're doing the usual, setting the nice, like, shiny parts onto both cars, which is good. Is there any significant difference here? 88, 94, 91. 87, 93, 91. Yeah, Alonso's pushing his maybe a little bit harder because he's had to go into Q2. But here we go, qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are. It is bright sunshine, so we're going to go out very, very early here. Guan Yu Zhou, when is the rain coming? Oh, it's coming right at the end. So yes, I think we go out right now and set an early session, as Bottas is going out as well. Early doors. So if it stays like this, it will be pretty good for all of us 3 to set a good time here in Q1 while the sun is shining, which is lovely. So hopefully people don't go out before the rain. And there we go, wet weather predicted. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's get these boys back in. And I'm actually thinking, right, they're now back in. So I'm thinking onto an... Have we only got 2 pairs of softs? These must be restricted for Q2, I guess. We're going to go and set. We're going to go and put exactly the same tyres back on the car. And we're going to go again before this rain comes. There's a nice gap there. But what is... Where is this rain? Okay, it's not far away. What I want to do is just see if... What's Verstappen doing? Right, he's coming to the pits. Now is a cracking time to go. So, Alonso goes out. Zhou goes out. Right. So, we should have enough space here to set a good time. So, we're going to drive on board with Fernando Alonso for what will be his last fast lap. As you can see, 85% chance of rain in 1 minute. It's looking very grey and cloudy. What can the 2 drivers do here as... The rain is really... It's going to start during our laps. It's going to start now. So anyone that hasn't set a time, which is quite a few people, are going to be screwed. They're going to be monumentally screwed here. Which is very, very interesting for them. And very, very good for us. Because there are some big name drivers here. As Perez just about sets a time. But yeah, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Norris, Hamilton, Vettel. Are any of them on flying laps right now? No, outlap, 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 outlap. So Schumacher and Albon may be okay. It's all going to depend on when this rain comes. And it's meant to be very, very soon. So Alonso setting a good time here. I think there are a few little drops coming. This is going to be very interesting for those people. The rain is starting. It's a green sector 2 for Alonso. Double yellows there for Guan Yu Zhou as we need this back marker to get out of the way in your Ferrari as it starts to rain. Are you going to be in trouble, Charles Leclerc? Are you going to be in trouble as Fernando Alonso comes around the last corner? Is he going to improve? Probably not, as the track is getting a little bit wet. He was 0.991 off the lead. The track is now damp. Ignore, ignore. And Fernando Alonso doesn't go quicker, I'm going to say. No, and I don't think Zhou will either. But the track is now going to get very, very wet, which means we don't need to go out again. And we should be in a good position. So Leclerc... Yeah, look at how slow he is. Oh my word, this is wonderful. This is wonderful news. It's a wet track. It's a completely wet track. We're not going to go out again. Look who's in that bottom 5. Oh my word. Norris, Leclerc, Stroll, Magnussen and Daniel Ricciardo. Albon's, they're all going back out, but the track is absolutely soaking. We're not going to set a faster time than what we've done. And Albon is going to be... Albon is first. He's currently 1.029. The checkered flag is set 1.29. Is he going to improve? I'm going to suggest he doesn't. And no, he doesn't. We're through with both drivers to Q2. Come on. Yes. Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou are through. And now we go into Q2 for the first time ever with both drivers. And they're now saying mediums. Yeah, why don't we have another set for Q2? What? This is bonkers. I feel like we go out on the softs again. I know they're worn, but we go out on those softs if it's not raining right now. Let's go and do this. Can we get both through into Q3? That would be massive. Right, quickly pause. So it's stopped raining again. No rain for this qualifying, which is going to screw us over a bit if we don't have, a fresh set of softs. I'm very surprised of why we don't have a fresh set of softs. Because you can see we've got 4 unused, 1 unused there for the race. Yeah, I'm not too sure why we don't have those available. But yeah, this is saying that our lap time on these current softs, it would be 0.7 seconds better if we put them on. 0.3 seconds better on mediums, so we might put them on for the second run. But I think for the first one, we'll go out on our used softs. And we'll see how this goes. But both drivers into Q2. This is massive. And with a really mixed up grid. Both Williams got through. So we are in with a bit of a chance here. Again, we're going to send out Zhou first. Verstappen then goes. We're going to actually send out... Let's send Alonso out after Verstappen. As yes, the track has stopped. There is no rain on the track. There is no rain expected for this one either. So let's see what these can do. We got weird drivers up here. Albon... Tsunoda, Schumacher, Hulkenberg made it through as well. I mean, other than that, everyone else should probably be getting through to Q1. But both drivers into Q2 is massive, and we set not amazing times. We do have poor tyres on those softs, so we'll get the mediums on for both drivers, which is not ideal, I'll admit. And then we're going to wait for the countdown, to be honest. I don't think we're going to get into Q1. There's still more drivers and cars that are quicker than us here already, but at the moment, I mean, we should be Tsunoda and Schumacher and Hulkenberg potentially, so that's 3 drivers below us. Maybe Albon in the Alfa Romeo, in the Alfa Tauri, but yeah, Verstappen, Perez, Sainz will all get through. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting as Leclerc carries on a fast lap. So 118, Hamilton comes in, Bottas carries on, Sainz comes in. Yeah, it's annoying that we're going to set this time on the mediums. That is pretty infuriating. Right, here go the exodus of everyone. So, Gasly's out. Hamilton's out. We'll send Alonso after Hamilton. Verstappen's out. We'll send Zhou after those two. And let's get those fast laps done, please, folks. I know we're on the mediums. It's going to be tough to match it. But there is Fernando Alonso in all of his glory, driving round the circuits, that's not English, driving round the Australian circuit is what I was trying to say. Now, we shouldn't be setting green sectors, we're on medium tyres, but which is very irritating, but let's see how they get on. So, not bothered about last lap, we're bothered about interval, that's what we want. Yeah, we're not interval, leader, that's the one. I'm all over the place for this video, which means it's probably going to be a good one. Right, Fernando Alonso, what are you setting in Sector 1? It is green. Okay. You set a green time on the medium tyres. Guan Yu Zhou, what have you got in your locker? You must be coming up to the end of Sector 1 any second now. As Fernando Alonso makes his way down the fast straight and little left-hander into the sort of hairpin I used to love taking on the F1 game. Absolutely amazing. Right, Guan Yu Zhou also sets a green Sector 1. Green Sector 2 for Fernando Alonso as well. So putting in some good times here. Just about to cross the line is one of the Alpines. Ocon is up into 5th. And where's the other Alpine? Is there only one Alpine in here? Oh yeah, there's only one Alpine that got through. Right, Fernando Alonso coming up to the ending of this lap. This little left-hander into the final right-hand turn. It's looking like a pretty decent lap on these mediums. And Alonso is going to cross the line. He needs to find 5/10. I don't think he's going to get enough. Oh, he does! Alonso's through to Q1 on mediums. Oh my word. What's Zhou going to do here? Zhou's going to cross the line. He may get 11th. If Zhou can put in a similar time to Alonso. Oh, he jumps up to 12th. Very, very good qualifying session here for Aston Martin as we get our first ever Q3 representation. 12th for Zhou Guanyu. And Alonso gets into Q3. What a time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to be alive. And I'm hoping now we get a pair of softs. Excellent. And we're starting on softs, which means there's not going to be any rain at the beginning. A wonderful qualifying for Aston Martin so far. Our best yet. Right, pause. Is there any rain coming? No, there is not. I'm expecting us to finish 10th in this session. Do we get Alonso out early? I mean, he's only got one set. So I think, again, we're going to go on the mediums. We're going to go and do a lap on the mediums, and then we'll do our fastest lap possible on that soft compound. This could screw us over for the race, but we are going to go out on those mediums there. So we'll just get those fitted to the car. Lovely jubbly. And I think we're going to send him out and try. Are we going to be able to get out in front of that Mercedes? Probably not. No, we have to do the radio check. But on the mediums, which put him into Q1, so I shouldn't be knocking it too much. He may be able to go even quicker on the softs that we set at the end of this session. But yeah, following Russell around nicely like a little puppy dog, as we're going to hit a little bit of traffic. But with the new update, they do get out of the way much, much quicker. And a Russell set to time that Alonso is only half a second off on medium compound tyres. But as you can see, everyone else sets times and does pretty good times. We're 1.5 off the lead. We're 5/10 off Russell. And this is saying that when we put the softs on, we'll go 13.1 seconds quicker. What? That can't be right. It's going to say we're going to go 13.1 seconds quicker. I'm going to suggest that is an error. Or is that saying slow? No, that's saying it's going to go slower than the mediums. Anyway, we're going to put that soft compound on and get ready for our final lap in Q3. I still can't believe we've got through to Q3, which is absolutely amazing. Who did we go out after last time? I think was it Hamilton? That Russell on that lap, but in Q2, who did we go out after? Cannot remember for the life of me. Right, Fernando Alonso is in. He's going to get Aston Martin's best ever qualifying under my regime. Can he get a top 8? I mean, he's going to lose positions, but everyone's playing the waiting game here about when people are going to go. Okay, here people go Gasly, Hamilton. Go on, Russell. Are you going to do a lap? Okay, we're going to send you after Sainz, Russell, Perez, and there is Fernando Alonso. Last one out. He'll be the last one on track on a new set of soft tyres. And something I'm actually very interested in as he starts his lap is everyone else is setting it on used. We could be in a pretty decent position here. This could be very interesting. How far away from the leader? There we go. Right, on board. Well, not quite on board, but watching with Fernando Alonso as he starts his flying lap in Q3, which is amazing to say. Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that we can say Q3 as the Aston Martin makes its way round the first couple of corners in Australia. And Fernando Alonso probably can't believe his luck that he's in Q3. Thank you, wet weather qualifying. Absolutely lovely. On these fresh set of softs, what can he do as he comes around the corner, takes the right-hand side at the end, gets into this next zone, This is a lovely little zone on this track. It's a green sector 1 for Fernando Alonso. And you can just keep your foot down driving through here. It's absolutely lovely, this bit. You come through here, you keep your foot down round the massive long cornery bent straight, which is absolutely epic. Right, times are coming in. Ocon doesn't improve. Bottas doesn't improve. 2 drivers over the line, neither of them have improved, and we are improving. Gasly doesn't improve. Okay, everyone's pretty fixed on where they are. Verstappen is on provisional pole. Leclerc can't beat him. Sainz, it's going to be Sainz, Russell, and who's that? Perez. They're going to be in front of us. So next over the line is going to be Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz currently P3. Remains P3. Behind him is George Russell. George Russell jumps up to P8. Perez crosses the line up to 4th. And Fernando Alonso really improves by 5 tenths, but can't get higher than 10th. That shows how the pace difference in this car is 3 tenths to the AlphaTauris. But what a qualifying session. Absolutely incredible. So I think it's a 3-place penalty for Alonso. So 1 through 3. He'll be starting down in, what's that, 12th or 13th. Yeah, awesome. What a qualifying session. So into the race we go then. Yeah, Guan Yu Zhou boosted up to 11th because of Alonso's penalty there. And Alonso doesn't have a fresh set of softs. So he's going to be on a completely different strategy to Zhou, because we're going to maximise those soft tyres as much as we can. Medium hards, I think we may start slower. And then, oh, it's saying, what's that? So that's 121.31, 121.31. Okay, there's no difference at the moment. Can't drag those. Oh, it's going to be tough for a one-stopper here. The mediums, you can't really get to the end, even just by running those tyres. I think we may put Alonso onto a 2-stopper here and make him push a little bit harder. Yeah, because the mediums, okay, he's got a bit of life in those mediums. Push the hards. Drop this one back and push that as well. Okay, that's going to be the trouble. So I think hards we stay as they are. How much do we need those mediums to be alive at the end? Okay, not too bad. If we really push them, can we drag these Can we drag the hards out in the stint in the between? Yeah, we can. I think we go for that. I think we go big. Is it? If we take that off and actually go a little bit easier to begin with. Yeah, I think that maybe makes more sense. The hards are a slower tyre, so if you're on them less, technically you go quicker, right? That's how I read it. But the strategies in this game are awesome. I love it. I love the fact you have to think about strategy. Okay, I think I've settled on this. We're going to push on the mediums, easy on the hard, push a bit on the mediums at the end. But we can manage these hards because they do have a bit of extra life in them. So I think we are going to go for a 2-stopper for Fernando. If we can actually drag those hards out and then get full push on the mediums at the end, I'm not too annoyed by that either. I mean, these softs do have some life in them. 14 laps at normal pace. Yeah, okay. Okay, right. Guan Yu Zhou. Let's see what you can do. I think 2 stoppers the way forward, I think. Everyone's going to be going too slow on their tyres there. So if we went, again, slightly push them, draw these hards out, add a soft stint, because you've got a set of softs, and really bring this down here to about there. Oh, the softs do really die off, don't they? I think we're going to flip this a little bit. I think we're going to start on the softs and then end on the mediums, I think is what we're going to do. We're going to really push on the softs, drag those hards out a little bit, get onto the mediums, similar to Alonso, but we're going to start really pushing at the beginning on the fast tyre of the softs. That is what we're going to go with. 2 stops all round for both teams. So pitting on lap 10, pitting on lap 17, so a big difference there. 10 is interesting. I don't know if 10 is enough to allow the field to change. We are going to, for this race, as a sort of trial, I guess. We're going to underfuel the car. We've had so much fuel left recently in races that it makes sense to maybe underfuel it. We could keep it normal, but I'm going to underfuel it. Right, there we go. Mediums for Alonso. Guan Yu Zhou on the softs. Do we do it that way? Here we go then. The Australian Grand Prix and the Aston Martin starting much higher up the grid than you ever would have expected. And it's actually, isn't it? It's Guan Yu Zhou who's actually ahead of Fernando Alonso. So from Fernando Alonso, we can get a lovely view of what everyone's doing here as Guan Yu Zhou is looking to make some move. Alonso keeps 13th. Zhou into 11th, both pushing off the start. It says Guan Yu Zhou's gained a position, but I don't think he has. I think he got lost and then got it back from Nico Hülkenberg. And what a strange top end of the field this is up here. It's absolutely brilliant. As Alonso gets past Hülkenberg, that is what we love to see straight off the bat. So what is everyone doing in terms of tyres here as we started? We've got one soft run-up, which is Zhou. Everyone else is mediums and a couple of hards. So sort of suggests they're going to do one stoppers like we saw, which means their tyres will die off at the end. And if everyone's mainly on mediums, where they are, they're going to go medium to hard. And we're going to be in a lovely, lovely position to potentially gain some places at the end of this race now. So let's drop them down into the tyre usage they need. Yeah, we have got a less fuel, as we know, because we underfueled the car. Yeah, this is very interesting. Alonso is we're going to let them battle. We're going to let them fight a little bit. Zhou should have the pace on the soft tyres, to be fair. We could say, in fact, should we say not with Zhou? Let's go for now, because Zhou's gonna pit first. Don't fight your teammate. Just sit behind him and see what we can do with that. As Alonso sets a purple yellow sector. Nope, a purple second sector, and is putting on some good pace here. In fact, because we've asked him to sit behind his teammate, we can probably just get him to look at the fuel situation and get that to work. So far he's doing a great job of not challenging, which won't mean, it will mean Zhou doesn't have to go defensive, which then means he's not going to make his tyres worse, and he can keep this pressure on Albon in front of him. So it is both AlphaTauris in front of both Aston Martins, as Nico Hülkenberg is dropping off, which is good for us because he keeps a lot of people behind him. So a good start to the Australian Grand Prix. Let's see how this one unfolds. Okay, DRS enabled, and Zhou has got Alexander Albon. So now we can get Alonso just to make sure he stays in Alex Albon's DRS now that this is on, as Guan Yu Zhou is carrying on the hunt for Pierre Gasly, and we're going to just deploy to get him into that zone of Pierre Gasly to make sure he gets pulled along by the DRS, which is ideal. Zhou needs to gain positions doing a two-stopper starting on the softs. He really, really does. As you can see, Gasly's a quick driver in this game. Well, he's a quick driver in real life, but he is a quick driver in this as well, as I think we're going to be within that second gap now, because up there is a big battle between Russell and Ocon, which is really slowing down Gasly. And can Alonso potentially take advantage of this situation as well?
Use energy if you need.
We'll have to wait and see, because if we can get him past Albon and get Zhou to pull Alonso along, that would be absolutely epic. At the moment, it's not happening for him. We'll put him into overtake. Zhou is nicely on the back of that little pack in front as well. What can Fernando Alonso do here up against the AlphaTauri of Alex Albon, which is a good move for Alex Albon back into, well, where he started his career, right? He was in the Red Bull driver program. Did he drive for whatever they were called before AlphaTauri? Toro Rosso? I think he did, yeah. I think he did. But at the moment, good position, 4 laps in. No incidents on track or anything like that. We've ditched Lando Norris, so we've got a good gap back behind Alonso as well. We just need to get this move done on Alex Albon, who is also going to have DRS on that pack in front as well. But yeah, all in all, it's looking very good at the moment. Alonso, you can see, he's getting so close. He's going to try and eye him up, I think, in the next DRS straight, which is which should be very, very good. In fact, now we're right there. You should get him pretty naturally in the DRS straight, although he's still going to... Albon's just hanging on to DRS, although Alonso might get this done on the outside. Albon's trying to force him wide. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3 as someone's locked up, and I'm not too sure who it is. Someone's tumbling down. It's Schumacher. Multiple cars have crashed. There is a yellow flag. DRS is disabled, which I assume means that is going to be a safety car, as the safety car is right there. This will be interesting to see what has happened here, and this is going to help Guan Yu Zhou on those softs. Absolutely no end. Right, Schumacher is out. Hülkenberg's out. So I think Schumacher must have spun. Hülkenberg then hit him. And, okay, interesting. So, the safety car is out. Oh, now this is the thing, right? With Zhou, if we got that pit stop done now, we're basically on a one-stopper, which matches us with everyone. And I'm pretty sure, right, Guan Yu Zhou is in the points. He must be in the points. Guan Yu Zhou is 10th. Oh, so this would match us onto everybody else. No, we're going to stick with it. We're going to get life out of these soft tyres now, as everyone's keeping their tyres warm. And yeah, you can see there. So I think it's a time penalty for Schumacher, yes, who's just gone into the pit. So we'll see that one, because it wouldn't have been too far behind Alonso, to be fair, who's desperately trying to keep his tyres warm. This is going to help our fuel as well. Help our tyres, help our fuel. This is absolutely gorgeous to see. I'm just waiting for the replay to come up to see if we get a view of what happened there. So I'm not sure we're going to get it, but it looked, yeah, I assume Schumacher spun, Hulkenberg's hit into him, but for the moment, we're waiting for the safety car. Right, so while we're watching the safety car, this is the thing. We have actually entered Guan Yu Zhou's pit window, but look at how much life he's got left on those tyres. So I think, yeah, we push this one back to there, or we push the softs really hard, or we say, yep, keep it the same, and we really push. I think we drag them out. I think he's making good progress on those tyres as they are, and all the while we can reduce that time on the softs. We're in a good position. Okay, safety car coming in, but we know they're not going to sprint away before this section here, so we can just make sure we maximise our tyre reduction in deg, which is going to be pretty much now. So just because of the start, we will go into attack, full attack with everyone. Look at what it's done for our fuel as well. It's put us right in line with that. We're in a fantastic position here as Albon is sitting, Alonso sitting behind Albon, who's sitting behind Zhou. So if we can get a good restart here, we're going to be in a absolutely fantastic position to potentially get some moves done here, as Alonso is looking, as we're under race condition. There is a Sector 3 yellow flag. Someone spun basically before the safety car even got going. I think we're okay because there isn't... oh no, was that the crash? Because it's staying... no, Schumacher spun, caused the safety car, and then spun again under safety car. Wow, that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. We're back on board with Fernando Alonso, though, trying to make this work. Go on, get Albon. Get Albon. You can get him. You're a better, more experienced driver than Alex Albon, Alonso. You can get that done. You can get that done. I'm pretty sure you can. I believe in Fernando Alonso. Because to be up to 10 and 11 would be absolutely epic. It really would. Guan Yu Zhou having a good race so far as well, it's got to be said. His tyres are moderately overheating, so we're going to drop him back down pretty soon. In fact, we'll do that now because he doesn't really need to push. We don't need you to push just yet. You're going to get extra life as well out of your mediums after that. But we will keep deploying. In fact, we're going to go overtake and we're going to set you to neutral, because what we actually want is Alonso to get past Albon and then both push together. So, yeah. Albon getting in the way is causing a bit of a headache as Alonso tries to go down the inside. Doesn't quite get it done. But he knows, Albon knows that Alonso's right there in his rear view mirror as Zhou is battling with Ocon. Can't quite get around him as we're on the onboard now, but should have the inside here, should get that move done. That is a cracking overtake from Guan Yu Zhou. Are we seeing his full potential in this one? And now we're pushing with Fernando Alonso. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get round him. Stick it in there, Alonso. Not in a sexual way. But yeah, he's just not making that stick, is he? Alonso just can't get past at the moment. And that is Alex Albon's proven to be a bit of a thorn in the side here. And is Zhou... yeah, Zhou's losing pace to Gasly. So we're going to deploy with Zhou and try and get him to close that gap. It's not it's not Zhou's problem if Alonso can't overtake Alex Albon. We can't ditch Zhou's race just because Alex Albon can't... Alonso can't keep up. I should have signed Albon. I keep saying his name instead of Alonso. Right. Deploy everything you got, Alonso. You need to make some hay while the sun's shining. I think that's the phrase. Okay, we're only a couple of laps off Guan Yu Zhou's apparent pit. I think we can extend these for some more laps here. I think he's got plenty of tyre wear. Maybe that might be one too many. We'll see how it goes. But it's going to allow us to push much harder on the softs come the end of the on the mediums come the end of the race. So yeah, not too worried about that at the moment. Zhou is back in DRS of Gasly, although is struggling again just to keep up with him. He needs Gasly and Russell to keep on fighting. Alonso in a great position. We've just eased off his ERS at the moment because DRS is pulling him along to match Alex Albon anyway. And as you can see, everybody up here is getting held up by George Russell, of all people, who is a good driver, but isn't really showing his potential at the moment. Zhou in a good position behind Gasly. Alonso in a good position behind Albon. All looking good. Okay, Zhou is now saying his tyres are getting worn. Where is he? Where are you, Joe, on the track? Oh, you're just... Yeah, this makes sense. Let's get you in now, then. Let's get you in onto those hards and get that pit strategy done. He's done really well to get up to 9th. Yes, we're gonna fall away a little bit, but yeah, I'm happy with Guan Yu Zhou's driving there. He's done a really good job so far. So we'll jump on. In fact, no, I like watching the pit stops. Let's watch the pit stop for Guan Yu Zhou as Albon obviously does gain a place. Zhou's going to drop a long way down, but we know he's going to have pace at the end. So I think that's key. I think that is key here. I know everyone's going to do a one-stopper. It could hurt us, but we'll see how this goes. Good pit stop from Guan Yu Zhou, 2.7. Not too bad at all, as Alonso still right on the back of Alex Albon, who is losing pace to Ocon, and that is something we really need to make sure we do right. Guan Yu Zhou, unfortunately, you can't push on these hards that much. We'll keep you on one lap of push just to see if you can gain some distance back into the pack. That would be pretty useful if you can. Alonso is not far away from his pit window either. How are his tyres doing? Again, he's going to have more life in those tyres. I think you can... Let's put it down to 2 and we'll manage it as he drives. Not an issue. Okay, so loads of people have entered their pit windows. Alonso is entering his pit window. Sainz, Bottas, Norris, Ocon. Is Zhou going to be able to catch any of them? It's going to be close. He's coming out right next to Ocon and does get round him. Okay, I think that is technically an undercut from Zhou. I think that's worked, although we do know that he's now got to do another stop. But if we can make that work, we're going to be in a decent position. Right, Alonso, pit window active. Let's see if we can get these tyres still going. So yeah, we're going to be pitting before the medium runners, but then we will have pace at the end, unless we change Alonso to a one-stop. If we bring that tyre deg down, can we make those hards run out? We'll have to get it in line. So we're actually going to pit around about there. No, we are not. And your softs are knackered, aren't they? I think your softs are absolutely shagged. Yes, they are. Okay, we are not changing with Fernando Alonso. We're going to stick with it as it is. It's a two-stopper for both drivers. It's risky. It's different. It could cost us points. Who knows what's going to happen. The good news is, though, is that Guan Yu Zhou is closing down on Lando Norris to get DRS, and that would be absolutely huge for Guan Yu Zhou, and something that we do need to happen, to be honest. So we'll put him on deploy. Alonso does still have DRS on the back of Albon, which is good for him, and I don't think we're going to lose that. So let's get you on harvest. Your battery is absolutely dead, Guan Yu Zhou, but did it pull you back in line for Norris? Yes, it did. So you're going to have DRS down this back straight as Vettel comes in to the pits as well. DRS is open, and Lando Norris I don't think has it. No, he doesn't. So that's going to catch us up very, very nice indeed, and give Guan Yu Zhou some much needed pull along, which is lovely. Are these lap cars, or is Bottas? Oh no, Norris is there with Bottas. Vettel and Bottas battling. Alonso still can't get this move done, but we are harvesting, and he is staying within the DRS of Alex Albon as well, which is lovely to see. Okay, we're riding on board with Guan Yu Zhou, who's lovely, charging up his battery as Norris and Vettel have a big fight in front of him, which is good for us. Alonso still sitting behind these two. We're actually going to get him to deploy all of his battery, and we're going to get him to send it, because he's going to be pitting this lap. So he's going to go full pace as much as he can now, Fernando Alonso, and see what he can do on his in-lap, because it should pop up in a minute and say he's on his optimal lap for pitting. He is, and we're going to go on to the hards. So that is that one done for Alonso. Up against both AlphaTauris in front of him, Gasly and Albon. Let's see what Fernando Alonso can do in this situation. He's still got the DRS open in that little stint that he gets, and he's going to get one AlphaTauri. He's going to get both AlphaTauris. Lovely stuff from Fernando Alonso. I'm glad we were there to see that as well. Up in fourth, obviously, is going to pit, which is going to drop him down the order quite significantly. But yeah, hopefully we can make something happen here. As Zhou is still pushing. He's got Ocon on his tail. He's got Vettel and Norris battling in front of him, and we've been charging him up for quite a lot as well. So I think next lap for Zhou, we get him to push quite a lot, because under braking he's catching them up, but they are pulling away when they deploy out of the corners. So yeah, we just need to make sure we manage that and keep that going. So already you can see there 0.976. He is out of the second. In fact, let's just get him to deploy now, because he's going to go into the braking zone, get some charge, and we can get him to deploy. So Alonso fighting off the AlphaTauris up the front, but of course he is now going to come into pit and tumble down the order, hopefully come out 11th or 12th. Another stop means that we'll get onto a bit of the pace at the end of the race. That's what we've got to remember. So Alonso enters the pits from 4th position. Where's he going to come out? So that's like just over a second. That's about 8 seconds. That's about 11. 11 and a bit. Maybe like 14 there. It's going to be interesting. He's going to tumble, but it's a good stop from the team. Exactly the same stop that Zhou had. 2.759. And Alonso is going to come out not too far down the order. If we can immediately get straight onto the DRS of someone, that would be lovely. As always, up against Russell. Russell is just going to get in with the momentum through the corner, but we are on the back of George Russell, which means we're in a good position here. And I think, again, with Alonso, I think we've said don't really push it too much. So we'll give him 1 lap on full push, and then we'll drop him down into what he needs to. But Zhou in 15th, Alonso in 12th. And quite a lot of carnage happening behind George Russell, who is going unbelievably slowly. As Zhou has got Vettel and Ocon, it looks like, while he's deploying his battery, which is awesome. He is past Sebastian Vettel in the Alpine, and right on the back of Lando Norris. And there's a train there, which Alonso is sort of keeping pace with the leader, George Russell. And they're slowly breaking away, actually, George Russell and Fernando Alonso. So we're in a good position here in the Australian Grand Prix. Yes, we've got another stop to do, but I'm quite confident how we're doing it. And George Russell is not going to hold on to that position. I think Alonso's got him. Yes, he has. Lovely driving there from Fernando Alonso. And Fernando Alonso showing all of his experience to get that one done on George Russell. He jumps up into 11th, although George Russell will probably get him now with DRS. But that's going to be a battle that just continues on throughout this race. So we're in a decent position with both drivers. It's all dependent on making our tyres last longer than everyone else. So Russell's near us. Magnussen's are going to drop off. These medium runners are really going for it, but they're not going to get to the end on those. Are they pitted? No, they haven't. So quite a lot of people haven't pitted yet up in front, which is going to make this interesting. There's going to be a lot of changes happening in this race. Yeah, a lot of changes. Okay, so some of the front runners are coming into pit, which is now where this gets really, really interesting to see what positions people are actually in. So Alonso jumps to 10th, Zhou jumps to 13th. Alonso in a bit of a battle there with Valtteri Bottas, but we know we've got the tyre wear. We know we're going to have the tyres to play with. Because everyone else, 80s, 75 for Zhou. Yeah, everyone can get these to the end. Stroll can't, Magnussen can't. Those guys all need to pit as well. So it's going to be really, really interesting towards the end of this race. So back on board with Fernando Alonso, who now finds himself behind Guan Yu Zhou, which is not a place he'd really want to be in as our lead driver. But this is working. I'm not confident, but I'm quietly happy with how this has gone. And I know we started higher up, but with how we're racing and who we've got in our cars, and the fact we're going to be pretty quick at the end of the race on those mediums, I'm hoping that if we just stay around this, we can cut through the field after that next pit stop and make this work. Because everyone's going to be on absolutely knackered hard tyres, and we're going to be pushing on pretty good mediums, to be fair. So this will be interesting. Zhou takes the lead of this little pack, which is cracking for him. We could probably harvest up a bit of battery with Alonso during this stint, because he ain't losing this DRS anytime soon. And I've just realised why Zhou got past Alonso. Zhou lost out 2 places in the DRS straight, nothing to worry about there, but I had never unticked don't fight teammate, so as soon as Zhou came up behind Alonso, he let him through, which probably let both the other cars through as well, which is a little bit irritating. But yeah, sometimes you just got to pay attention to what you've clicked and what you haven't clicked, haven't you? So for now, we're not doing too bad. There's no way that Alonso is 1 second behind Zhou. He's literally right here. He's literally right there, game. What are you on about? Yeah, 1.83. That's a bit better. Right, Zhou, you need to make sure that you keep your DRS, mate. There we go. You have to keep your DRS. So get that flap open and get your foot down, because you can't afford... If Alonso's going quicker than you, we're going to let you fight. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to let Alonso go through as the quicker driver. And we're going to do it down the DRS straight. So we'll say it now. Don't fight. Switch positions. Let your teammate pass. Oh, Zhou, you didn't have to go that bloody slow to let him past. Unbelievable. Alonso now, I don't think, is Alonso got DRS? Yeah, he has. He got it off Zhou. Okay, so Zhou, you now, oh, you can't push. You haven't got anything there. Right, come on. Come on, Guan. Guan Yu Zhou needs to show us here why he's a good race car driver, in all honesty. Right, just deploy whatever you've got, mate, because you need to make sure you close this gap and get into that DRS of Fernando. Because I don't want to pull Fernando off. And I don't want to weaken Fernando's position because he's in a good DRS position on the back of Norris. So, Guan Yu Zhou, just deploy absolutely everything you've got for this remaining bit of lap. I don't care if it's empty. Keep pressing the button to deploy it. That's all you've got to do. You've got to get back within that second because Ocon is probably going to get you in the next DRS zone if you don't have DRS. Come on, Guan Yu Zhou. I put a lot of faith in you. It's not going to happen. You're drifting away. You're drifting away. How are we doing compared to everyone else on tyres? 62 for Zhou, but he's going to come in pretty soon. Alonso, see, Alonso's matching everyone else. So Alonso could... I don't think they're going to do a two-stop. Maybe they are going to do a two-stop. Right, you're going to get DRS off the back of the Alpine there, of Esteban Ocon. So we'll let him do the donkey work to catch everyone up, and he can pull you along very, very nicely. Come on, Guan Yu Zhou, don't let us down. Or in fact, your DRS off the back of Ocon. Ocon is a mix of Alpine and Ocon. So Ocon may get you... Oh, hello. Who's this coming through? Pierre Gasly's coming through with his DRS. Unbelievable. Right, let's harvest you up then. You're out of the fight with Alonso, so let's focus on him for a little bit. As Alonso right up the gearbox of Sebastian Vettel. Wow, okay. We'll put you into overtake. See if you can get a position or two. Let's see how this is going. As Zhou just, yeah, he's hanging on the back of Ocon and Gasly, who are going to be fighting. And he's getting a little bit of battery, which is good. But yeah, Alonso on the old overtakes. We'll get you to harvest as well, actually, because you're not going to be left behind by this lot. No chance. Okay, Stroll and Magnussen come into pit. So Alonso up into 10th. So that's their one stop done for the day. Zhou up to 13th with those two pitting there. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting when we come into pit. Maybe people are doing a two-stopper. Maybe they are. Because we're not pushing these hards and we're matching them all for tyre wear. And we're not asking too much of the drivers here. And I don't think those hards, if we delete that stint, there's no way those hards are getting to the end. So I feel like they have to. Although that's not it's actually Alonso, isn't it? Alonso's matching them at the moment. So if we go in here and delete that, there's no... Yeah, they're pitting again. There is no way they're making their hards get to the end, which now I'm thinking, do we undercut them, come in a little bit earlier but push these hards? I know it says we can't push the mediums. We'll manage it. We'll manage that. Come in on lap 41. Yeah, then we're only just under. Yeah, there we go. So quick change to Alonso's strategy. We're going to go for an undercut with him, and we'll keep Zhou where he is and see how this works, as we're currently looking from behind Alonso at Pierre Gasly, which is an interesting view to come back to. But there we go. So Alonso pushing now with Vettel. Did I just change that to say he can now push these tyres? Yes, I did. So get on that aggressive Alonso. Although look how much he's not wearing his tyres out. Is that the same for Zhou? No. Zhou's doing it there. Okay, so... Oh, it was saying that because I've only just changed it to aggressive, isn't it? So I think we absolutely have a couple of beanie laps now with Fernando Alonso and see what he can do against the Alpine of Vettel and Norris in front of him. Yeah, Bottas is the one that's got a big gap to Russell or Norris now, because they've just switched as I was talking. Thank you, game. But yeah, Fernando Alonso trying to make a move with the DRS open. You can see Bottas there is not getting away from the Alpine. Good move from Fernando Alonso, though. Lovely, lovely stuff. Let's get this in the TV camera and see what Alonso can do here, as he's easily got past Sebastian Vettel when we ask him to deploy his battery. So that's one position gained, which is lovely. Zhou, are you still struggling? You are. You're not catching up with Esteban Ocon. We're going to have to get him to deploy soon. We need that DRS to pull him around, as Alonso keeping pace with Valtteri Bottas. What's happening up the front? Verstappen and Perez in an absolute world of their own. Leclerc and Sainz in a world of their own. Hamilton and Russell in a world of their own. Although they're not. Hamilton's right on the back of Sainz. Russell on a world of his own. And then you've got this group of which Fernando Alonso may get another move done here. No, he doesn't. Bottas just holds on, and I'm sort of thinking, as we come round these last 2 corners of this lap, let's go overtake mode with Fernando and see what he can do coming down the start-finish straight with DRS and overtake on it. It looks like he's going to get both drivers. He is past Lando Norris and Valtteri Bottas there, and that is superb. So I think, does he get another batch of DRS here? Yes, he does, which is going to take him even further away from Lando Norris. And that is all you can ask for from a driver like Fernando Alonso. Showing his worth, Fernando Alonso, at the moment. And yeah, my worry is that there isn't much of a difference between all of these drivers. So when we pit, we're probably going to come out down here somewhere, and it's going to need a monumental effort put in to make a difference and pull away. So we're going to deploy and see if we can break this gap to Valtteri Bottas, because we're not far off it, and it'll be really helpful if we can just have some clean air behind Russell to go and push into, if we can break this gap to Valtteri Bottas.
If you need it.
No, we didn't manage to break it to Bottas. We did deploy for a lot of that, but Bottas is now going to overtake us with DRS. We only lose that 1 place though. Bottas will fly away because he's going to have DRS again, and we won't. Norris will probably get us here, but we're in a decent position here. We're trying to get Zhou to close the gap, but it's not working. The DRS train in front, which is this, so Zhou's there basically on his own, and we've got, yeah, this thing here, Bottas, Alonso, Norris, Vettel, Gasly and Ocon. The DRS switching is all just pulling everyone away from Zhou, and I'm sort of thinking, can we do anything with his strategy to make this a little bit more bearable for him? Yeah, we could bring him onto the mediums. Let's do that. Let's change that. We're going to get Zhou in basically now, and get him onto those medium tyres, which will give him a little bit of life to push with as well. And just see if we can get that potential undercut with Zhou, because I feel like everyone is going to pit again. They're all similar to Alonso in tyre wear. So Zhou, let's push those tyres that you're currently on and see how you get on with that. And we'll pit you after you finish this lap, as Alonso's still on the back of Valtteri Bottas. He is holding up everyone behind him, which is decent. So now, yeah, again, a little bit of strategy tinkering. We're going to see how this goes. So Alonso has, this is saying 1, 2, 3 more laps to pit. I'm wondering if we can push those tyres. Yeah, he's got quite a lot on his tyre wear there. So I think he's in a good position. Guan Yu Zhou should get the flag in a minute to say, oi lad, you're coming in. But yeah, Alonso doing a good job here. He's trying to take on Valtteri Bottas, and does get it done. Good work, Fernando. Again, lovely work from Fernando. Right, Guan Yu Zhou in his ultimate pit, or optimal pit position. On to the mediums he goes. Pit this lap, good sir. And we'll see how this two-stopper is going to work. I think there may be benefit to bringing Alonso in early as well. I think getting Alonso in on a slight undercut may be good, because I'm pretty sure everyone else is going to pit again. But you can see here that Alonso can't quite break the chains of Valtteri Bottas behind him in this group, and everyone's just pulling everyone along again. Okay, Guan Yu Zhou comes into the pit. He pitted behind Ocon, so that's what we need to make sure. Basically, if this works, when Ocon pits, we'll be ahead of him. If this works, that's what's going to happen. But I think Zhou had too much of a gap to Ocon when he came into the pit. So that's what we need to know about Zhou. When Ocon pits, it's about if he comes out behind or in front of Zhou, as Alonso loses a position there. We are harvesting up with him for his full beans lap, and he's only going to be behind Valtteri Bottas again. And we're keeping up with the Alfa Romeo and Valtteri Bottas, who is a very, very quick driver in this game, as we're going to have to put you down to aggressive and manage it from there, to be honest.
Yeah, take it easy.
But at the moment, Alonso is doing a good job. I'm very happy with what Alonso's doing at the moment. Where's Ocon tyre wear? 52%, so he's not going to be out for too much longer. And that's who we need to worry about with Zhou. But at the moment, Fernando Alonso doing very well, harvesting all of his energy at the moment and not really deploying very much at all, which is what we want to see. And he's going to get DRS, so I think this is the lap. From here on in, we're going to say, full beans, mate, you're coming into pit. Let's see what happens as Sainz and Hamilton both come into pit. Bottas, Norris, Vettel all coming into pit. Yeah, full beans from you, Alonso, now.
Use energy if you need it. Use energy.
Ocon doesn't come in, but this should get Zhou some spots here as Alonso gets 4th place at the moment. And where is Zhou here? I just want to speed this up. Who's Zhou gonna pass in the pit? I don't think he's gonna get. Is he gonna get anyone? Is Zhou gonna get anyone here? No, he's not. But he's gonna be right-ish. He's not even right on the back of that group, which is a little bit frustrating because they've all gone onto the medium tyres. So he's not going to have that extra bit of pace at the end, which is infuriating, but we live with it. 5th place, Fernando Alonso, who's obviously got jumped by George Russell at some point, which I didn't quite... Has George Russell pitted? No, he hasn't pitted. Okay, so Alonso's still going full beans. He's got 42%. He can rag these hards for a little bit longer. I think that's what he's going to do.
We have low battery.
We just need to check. What we need to check is lap times here. We need to check, and I don't do this enough in the game. Alonso a 1:23.8, Russell 1:23.3. Tyre history. So Lewis Hamilton has come on to the mediums. Everyone's still doing laps. So 19, 22, 24 for Russell. He's been out the longest. So let's have a look at lap history. Hamilton, who was doing a 1:22.9 on his hards, and he's still on his outlap, but in a decent position, to be fair. Alright, Ocon pits. So is Zhou going to get Ocon? Is Zhou going to get Ocon? No, he isn't. Wow, okay. The undercut does not work for Guan Yu Zhou, although I did say I thought it was a bit too far behind him anyway. As Alonso, we're still getting him to rag these tyres. He's got a lot of life left in them, which means we can push harder on the mediums when we get onto them, which I really don't mind at all. As Gasly's now gaining, and Gasly is still on the hard, so he's got a lot more life. We're going to pit Alonso because I'm worried about their life on those tyres getting to below 40%. So yeah, so Alonso was ahead of Gasly and behind Russell, and he's going to pit before both of them. Hamilton and Sainz will get him. Albon's going to pit. Ricciardo's still got a pit. Stroll, I'm not sure. I don't think so. Okay, it's going to be interesting.
Copy.
It's going to be interesting as Russell comes in at the same time. Okay, so we're basically chasing George Russell on a similar strategy. This does mean we can push those mediums. We got a little bit more time out of them as he comes in. Let's not lose any real time. 2.8 isn't amazing. You can see the Mercedes right in front of us just there. And then as Alonso comes out, again, we're going to do one lap full push. So Alonso isn't in a terrible position here as he comes out battling with Lando Norris. Yeah, he's not in a dreadful position, Fernando Alonso. Who around him still has to pit. So Alonso's going to have more tyre life. Magnussen, Stroll, Ricciardo, Albon all have to pit. And Gasly. Alonso could be getting points here. He could be getting back-to-back points. It's going to be very interesting as this unfolds. So all pit stops done now. It's all down to the drivers. As, yeah, Guan Yu Zhou struggling to impress again. I don't think the strategy's messed him up. I think he's not driven to his capabilities. It's the curse of the car 2. Curse of car 2. Wow, Alonso is having such a good race right now. He's got up to 12th. We've been harvesting the whole lap. He's up to 85% battery, which is absolutely huge. Isn't far off Ricciardo, Magnussen and Stroll, who still all need to pit. So Alonso is absolutely gunning it. Yeah, we've probably pushed his tyres a bit too much, but he's doing a fantastic job. So 1.47 off Ricciardo, but harvesting like an absolute trooper. So I think come the end of this lap, which he's pretty far away from, but I think he's going to be in a very good position to just absolutely gun it for a couple of laps. Especially if those guys come into pit on this one in front of him who are battling, Magnussen and Ricciardo. So let's see what happens here as we come round the final couple of corners. I'm expecting Stroll, Magnussen and Ricciardo all to pit pretty soon. None of them do. Okay, deploy. Let's get into that DRS and absolutely gun those guys and get past them. 53, 59, 58, 56, 49, 53, 51. There's going to be it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens here. But Alonso is on the charge, and I love saying that in this save. He's doing a fantastic job, and we have to watch Guan Yu Zhou's fuel as well. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm just thinking Guan Yu Zhou's in a bit of a world of his own, so we could potentially ask him to charge up his battery and get ready to push. No one's really pitting around him. So it's going to be interesting. But Alonso in 11th, and he's overtaking people that haven't yet pitted. So doing an absolutely cracking job, Fernando. You keep that going, lad. You keep that going. Ricciardo stopping us getting past at the moment is being a bit of a pain in the arse because we need to catch up with George Russell, who is putting pressure on Alex Albon. So, yeah, Alonso having an absolutely cracking race at the moment as he's trying to get past Daniel Ricciardo, who's defending really, really well. But there is that little group of cars just up front that we need to catch as Daniel Ricciardo going so slowly out of that corner really hinders us. And Alonso, yeah, coming from, he's absolutely yeeted most of his battery. Daniel Ricciardo still doesn't come into pit. Daniel Ricciardo, you are going to be dying on those tyres come the end of the race. Well, maybe not actually. He's not. Maybe they're the hard runners that are going to the end. I'm surprised if they do, but yeah, you never know with the AI. But Fernando Alonso gets past him. He's going to get DRS here as well, so hopefully we catch up with Albon and Stroll, because Russell, I assume, is going to leave Albon for dead in this section here. But Alonso back into the points on 10th, and I am expecting some other people to pit as well later on in this race. There's only, well, there's less than 10 laps to go, so maybe they're not pitting, but hopefully our mediums will come in nice here towards the end of this race. So Alonso right on the back of these two. He should get both of them with DRS, coming down the start finish straight. I think he's just going to have generally more pace. So we are... Oh, get out of the way, Alex Albon. What sort of defending is that as a late manoeuvre? Unbelievable, lad. Unbelievable. But we do need to get past him. We should, hopefully, be able to do it on this little stretch here where we get DRS. Come on, Fernando. You've got to make this move happen. Yeah, easily on the mediums. Can outbrake him. And now we just got to keep up with Lance Stroll, which shouldn't be too much of a challenge. No offence to Lance Stroll. But we're going to get Zhou to absolutely gun it for a couple of laps now that he's been charging up his battery a little bit. Come on, Fernando. Up into 9th in the points. Lovely stuff. And we are catching Lance Stroll quite quickly, to be honest. That was about 1.2 seconds before. So we are doing very, very well in terms of lap history. Alonso 121.8, but we were gunning it on that one. So let's go for a 122 generally. Where is Lance Stroll? A 122.9 and a 122.3. So it's not a huge difference, but Lance's tyres are going to drop off, and Alonso is up into the points, which is good. And look at how wide Lance Stroll took that corner there. Yeah, I'm sniffing a minimum of 8th place here for Fernando Alonso, which is lovely to see. Guan Yu Zhou is just in a world of his own, sitting in 17th. So maybe the softs at the beginning wasn't the best. Maybe ending on the softs would have been better. Maybe trying to one-stop with him would have been better. But yeah, he's not had a very good race so far. How are his lap times comparing with Lando Norris? So Guan Yu Zhou 123.1. Yeah, oh, that's Ricciardo. 122.2. Yeah, it's not really worked for Guan Yu Zhou. It's not really worked today, so let's do our usual and focus on Fernando Alonso. Focus on car number 1. With not much left to go, we just need to make sure Guan Yu Zhou finishes the race, to be honest. That's probably the more pressing concern, down in 17th at the moment. But with a safety car, you never know what could happen. Now, Alonso is going to get these tyres to the end of the race. So Zhou can get his tyres to the end of the race if he goes aggressive. Yeah, your tyres are slightly overheating, but don't worry about that in a moment. Get this move done.
Push more.
Get this move done. I mean, Lance Stroll is losing time to George Russell like there's no tomorrow here. That says Stroll's on the mediums. Stroll is on the mediums. They're just not as good as our mediums. Okay. Why did I think Stroll was going to pit? He's not going to pit. But we've overtaken him now, so it doesn't matter. Lovely stuff. We're past him. Right. Let's see if we can gun it away from him and get him out of our DRS. That would be very, very nice indeed. But there's a battle going on behind us, which I'm hoping controls, like, get Stroll into it a little bit more than him gaining on us. That would be quite helpful indeed. 0.4 is the gap already. Is anyone still out? Gasly's on shit hards as Lance Stroll tries to get back at us with DRS, and now he's going to get more DRS to pull away. So Gasly's going to go to the end on those hards, but he should be caught up by Russell. Yeah, I'm not too sure here. I think 8th is definitely on the cards. Let's charge up behind Lance Stroll for a little bit. Okay, 3 laps to go. We've been charging up our ERS here, and we are basically going to bomb it on the last lap and try and get both of these into 8th. That's, you know the drill. You know what we like to do here, so we can sit behind them, make sure that we've charged this battery fully up, which it looks like we're doing pretty easily, and then we're going to just try and leave them to the dead, to be honest, because yeah, giving up on Joe a little bit. He's not doing anything sitting at the back, but he's now just got to make sure his fuel gets in range, so we are conserving. I mean, there's a 53-second gap between him and Schumacher at the back, so yeah, we're in 17th. We're not going to change that, but can we get more points here? Because we've got Albon on our tail a little bit here, so we do need to absolutely gun it at some point. We've got we've got good working life left in our tyres, and we're conserving them a little bit more than we need to, so yeah, we're in a decent position. I'm just wondering, when do we release the Alonso, so to speak, and just ignite him here, because we're going to get DRS here, and we're going to go for it. Absolutely gun it, Fernando, because if we can get both of them on this straight, which I don't think we're going to, or we might actually. Now pull out. Now just jerk it to the right and take the inside. Go on, come on, Fernando. Come on, Fernando. Get this done with your DRS on this. Try and get both of them. If we can get both of them here, we could be away. It looks like he's going to get the Alpine on the inside. He's looking at Lance Stroll. Can't quite get that done. What about this corner here? Let's lower those again. The tyres, I think we just need to keep an eye on. Go on, Fernando. That's it. Out of this corner. It's Lance Stroll. We sacked him. First thing we did pretty much as a team principal. Get rid of Lance Stroll. We've got Vettel out of the way, although he's going to be hanging on to our DRS. I feel like Lance Stroll should be easy pickings. And tell you what, don't push him too much here, because we might as well get the DRS on the again on the start-finish straight if we can stay right behind him, which we are. Whoa, that was a bit wobbly there from Fernando. So we get DRS on this bit, which is fine. I don't mind if we don't overtake him here, but if we do overtake him here, Fernando, then you're not going to get DRS on the start-finish straight. But you didn't get that move done. You're not going to get the move done here, which means we are going to have DRS on the start-finish straight, if my calculations are correct. So there is Lance Stroll. There goes Fernando Alonso. DRS open, and we absolutely gun it now, because we're going to get DRS on the next little straight as well, which means we should pull away pretty easily. So 2 laps remaining. 35% tyres is a little bit close to the edge. And Guan Yu Zhou's fuel is really struggling right now. So Fernando Alonso has 2 laps to go, and to hold on to 8th position would be huge, as Vettel and Stroll battling behind him have dropped out of DRS detection, and that is exactly what we wanted. This could be an 8th place finish for Fernando Alonso as Verstappen starts his final lap of the Australian Grand Prix, and I've got a feeling those Red Bulls are still fighting between each other as Verstappen and Perez. Going to be interesting. Perez could back off, get DRS right at the end, although Verstappen got it on that bit and is going to pull away, it seems. But going back to Fernando Alonso, who's nearly put 2 seconds between him and Sebastian Vettel now. He's doing a cracking job. Right, Guan Yu Zhou, I don't think you're going to get to the end of this race. What can we do to make sure you don't run out of fuel? Let's use battery as much as we can to help you around. But at the moment, Fernando Alonso sitting very comfortably in 8th position, which I will take, given that he started below that in the grid. A good strategy there from Fernando Alonso as he's starting his final lap, and Zhou is getting his stuff back in range, which is good for him. But Fernando Alonso is there, out of range of Sebastian Vettel and Albon and Ocon behind him, and Lance Stroll. So yes, good stuff there. 31% tyres, so he's just about managed those as well. Yeah, okay, people did well with those one-stop. I'm going to suggest the top 3 all did a one-stop strategy, which proved to be pretty successful around Australia, as Alonso just gets into the 30% territory to make him suffer a little bit at the end. Verstappen is over the line as the winner. Perez comes second. Leclerc's going to get third. There's a lot of spacing as this race has unfolded. We've just got to make sure that Vettel doesn't get the DRS on us into the last few corners, so we'll just keep that on deploy. and absolutely gun it as much as we can, because Fernando Alonso has driven a fantastic race. Back-to-back points it's going to be, unless he royally screws up in the last few corners of Australia, but I don't think he's going to. Hamilton's going to get 5th, Sainz in 4th, so double Red Bull, double Ferrari, double Mercedes, and then it's going to be a single AlphaTauri, a single Aston Martin, a single Alpine, a single Alfa Romeo, and then the teams start repeating again. But Guan Yu Zhou, all the way down there in 17th, has now got his fuel back in line to finish this race. And Fernando Alonso is going to come across in 8th position in the Australian Grand Prix. A fantastic drive from him. Really, really happy with that one. And yeah, absolutely superb from Fernando Alonso there. 8th place, lovely stuff. And the only player still out on track who hasn't finished is Guan Yu Zhou, who does cross the line and finish the race, and will probably run out of fuel right in the middle of the track. There he is, right in the middle of the track, running out of fuel. He just made it. But an 8th place for Fernando Alonso. Absolutely cracking stuff. More points for Aston Martin on the board. He climbed 5 positions. Yeah, 1 stop, 1 stop, 1 stop. Pierre Gasly with a 1 stop. Lance Stroll with a 1 stop. So everyone that gained a good number of positions basically did a 1 stop. It was us and Sebastian Vettel on a 2 stop that actually gained a large number of positions. But well done there to Sebastian Vettel. Not a good race for Guan Yu Zhou, who drops down 6 places to finish 17th. Ouch. Into the drivers' standings, then Sebastian Vettel up 2 places to 11th. That's not our driver anymore. Fernando Alonso jumped a place up to 1st with 6 points against his name, which puts Aston Martin into 6th with 6 points against their name. Lovely stuff. We gain on Alfa Romeo, and we get 2 more points than Alpine. So lovely stuff. Man, that looks more healthy, doesn't it? When Fernando Alonso gets his bonus, he gets 510,000, and we take home 4.5 million. God, it's so much good. It's good not having Seb, to be honest, on the money front. Okay, so after that, Guan Yu Zhou does have a development point to do. We're going to put that one into cornering to get him up there. Good stuff for him. Does Drugovic have a point? No, he doesn't. We've used his, and Alonso doesn't either. So yeah, it's going to be interesting what to do with Fernando Alonso. We've only given him a 1-year contract, but already it does seem to show that an experienced driver can be pretty good. So, regulation votes. I can't remember what we did on this one. Where are we? Where are Aston Martin? Aston Martin, we voted against it, and it's been voted in, I think. Yeah, majority voted in favour, so there's going to be a reduction on the side pods, which is a little bit irritating. The team hub is in poor condition, so weekly experience gain goes down, morale goes down, team attractiveness goes down, and it's going to cost us 600 grand to refurbish it. Yeah, go on. Not too fussed about that at the moment. I want to put some more money into this sort of stuff, but at the moment all the upgrades are far too expensive. We could do the wind tunnel. The CFD simulator. Oh, that would be massive. So the factory's coming. The design centre is the one we want because it allows us to increase our engineer capacity. So that's what we're going to save up for, I think, with that one. So wind tunnel refurbishment is complete. The team hub will be soon. Car part research unlocked. Now that the technical regulations voting is complete, we know what our parameters are for car development next year. With that in mind, we should start car part research for the next season as soon as possible. Okay, doing research for next season will give our team an expertise boost that will help with any expertise lost from the new regulations. This will be how we pull ahead of the pack next year, but I'll leave what we research to you. Thank you. We exceeded expectations. Lovely stuff from Fernando Alonso again. And that is all looking good. Right, the next Grand Prix will be in over a week's time at the Emilia-Romagna in Italy, which is all good, isn't it? All good fun. We've got a week off, and then we come back. What can we do in that week? We'll find out in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. For now, I'm out. Cheers.